Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of the Elite West round recap. Here to help me cover the Coed-Division and lend their insight is Monique Aguilar from Rise of Brutality. Monique, thank you so much for hopping on and being willing to talk dodgeball with me. There's a lot to cover, so let's just go ahead and just start with what were your thoughts on Coed, just overall?
I feel like the Coed-Division this year, more than any other year, was in terms of like the skills of all the different teams was a little more varied. You couldn't really predict the winner. Like everyone was just doing so well and really brought their A game to this round. Like I always have faith that Rise of Brutality would always play their game and that would lead them to victory like 90% of the time, but even I was a little worried about this Coed-Division because of how well everyone was playing.
Gotcha. So I mean, it's not a bad thing to be, I don't want to say worried, but you don't want to be too confident, right? You want to have enough confidence to know that you're going to do well, and if you play your best, you'll take first, but at the same time, you don't want to just be like, oh, we're going to walk in there and murder everybody and not have to worry. Is that kind of what you meant?
Oh, what I meant was that they were going to do well as in Rise. I know my job in Rise is to, well, sit back and catch, but that's fine. I feel like for me, that should be my job right now. I feel like it's very humbling and it helps you. I feel like it just helps me learn a bit more about the game and sit back and watch everybody. But yeah, no, I had no confidence in me. I was just like following their game plan, and I believed them to take it the entire way. But I was just kind of along for the ride.
Gotcha. Well, sorry, I thought that was kind of funny. It must have worked though. I mean, you guys took first, so I guess first of all, congratulations on that. That's no small feat. When I talked to both Kelsey, Crystal, and Serge, it felt like it didn't matter what division. It was anybody's tournament. Like everybody came in swinging. Everybody was on their A game. And just looking at your bracket here, it doesn't look like you guys lost at all. So what teams stood up from your perspective? I mean, you obviously, not to beat up on you at all, but if you're saying you're kind of watching everything go on, who did you notice that just like shocked you? Any teams in particular or players?
Force and Fortune gave us a run for our money for sure. I think we 2-1 them. And all the ladies on Force made amazing clutch catches, not just against us, but like I was watching. I don't know if you remember that catch Caitlin Delgado made against Justin Pine. That was pretty dope.
Oh man, she's not gonna ever not talk about that. She made a catch on Pine. Oh man, back in
you can't blame her for that.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely don't. I'm not. I mean, anybody that catches Pine, that's awesome. That's a great day. I'm remembering a time when she caught Pine, I think like 2012, 2013, and she just would not stop talking about it. Which I mean, I would too. Like I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just laughing because now I could hear her saying, "Oh, I caught Pine again," and it's just funny. 'Cause I've known Caitlin Delgado for a while, back when I lived in Tucson. So that's awesome. Good for her. Any other like insane catches or players that you noticed?
I actually don't know, and I feel bad because she's like my former teammate in women's division when we were on stealth together. But Lizzie Hoder, she plays on Witness for women's division, and I actually don't know her co-ed team for Coed-Division. But yeah, her catches were amazing. I don't know who they were playing against, but she made this this catch against somebody, and I remember that player being really, really good. And for some reason, he just, like, she was right. She wasn't all the way in the back. She was just somewhere in the middle front, and he just decided to, like, throw it at her chest, and she just caught it. But she does that a lot, apparently, and she did that a lot for women's. And I remember round 3 of last year, she made this amazing catch against, I believe it was Red Key for some reason. But yeah, she's always been pretty amazing. But in this new team, she's even extra amazing.
Gotcha. So she's definitely made a name for herself and somebody to look out for and not take lightly.
Oh, yeah, I feel like she's a little underrated. But I'll say that about any women player, to be honest.
For sure. Let me see here. I'm just looking at what Tyler wrote in his article here. Because I'm pretty sure you got a shout out, so I don't want to. Yeah, here we go. So it's kind of pulling you out of the I didn't do anything, type of mentality. Rise's newest female player, Monique Aguilar, earned at least a shout-out for some incredible catches that saved them a few times in early elimination games. And that's more the Monique that I remember. I remember watching you play, was it Foam? It was the LA Classic. Like, you were catching a lot. And, I mean, I don't remember seeing you do that often. So, like, something happened last year where it just seems like you've been catching a lot more and you've stepped up your game incredibly. And when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, she can catch now. That's scary. Do you have you just been practicing, or has it just come in time, or is it just I'm late to the game and just now noticing?
I don't. I feel like it's just a mix of a lot of things. I tend to psych myself out and second guess myself pretty easily, which leads to a lot of drops and catches when I feel like just by the feel of some balls, I feel like I can catch these, but because I've reached for a ball or I've made some sort of mistake or I've just overthought something, I've dropped it. And I even had to have Kale come up and tell me, like, don't second guess yourself, just play. And yeah, I feel like my greatest strength has just been catching, but I can easily psych myself out.
That's fair. Yeah, and that, I mean, I'm just as bad at that too. It's funny because when you're looking at how close people are throwing at you, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of time to second guess what you're about to do, but it happens. Like, you have, like, maybe in reality, like, a split second to I'm going to catch this. No, I'm going to jump. Oh no, I'm actually going to just watch this hit me and do absolutely nothing. So
yeah,
yeah, I know the feeling. That happened to me a lot during Open, just trying to get used to playing again. So I totally get that. You just have to kind of let instinct take over and trust your practice, and sure enough, they'll come. And it sounds like they did when they needed to, and you're able to help your team get to first. So, do you were there any games that stood out in your mind that were just epic battles, or where you had I don't want to say doubts, but like any matches that you still kind of remember almost as if they were just yesterday?
The matchup against Doom and the matchup against Echo, playing against on the other side of Andrew Ketchum's ball is very scary.
That's never fun.
Never fun, yeah. But yeah, at some point you have to get hit by it, and you have to get used to it.
Did Ketchum hit you really hard, or is that what happened? Or
He just hit me in the face for one of the bracket plays, but I had my hand up. I think my hand was up already for some dumb reason, but it hit me in the hands really hard, and I was like, okay, that was a taste.
That just happened.
Yeah, that just happened. And I was a little more fine with it than I thought I'd be. I was actually a little more disappointed that I somehow didn't make it prop up. and someone could have got it. Someone else could have got it. But yeah, I feel like I just need to deal with balls like that. I need to be able to have just a firing squad throw at me one day. But in terms of the games, because I was getting a little sidetracked there, they were pretty epic. I feel like, yeah, those two games we got, it was 2-1, and did we lose? I don't really remember, but did we lose a match?
It doesn't look like you did. I'm looking at your bracket right now, and just pretty floored with some of the matchups you guys had, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, you guys went the distance. Not to sound cheesy, but yeah, you guys did not lose at all.
Okay, cool.
That was you guys looks like you started out with Nope, beat them, beat Gridlock, took Echo out, took out the Rainbows, and then final match was I guess Rainbows again. Wow, they went far.
Okay, no, they were great. I love that matchup against them. We sent them to the losers bracket, I believe, and then they came back against Force. That match was great.
Were there any other matches that you might have watched? Because imagine, if you're in the winners bracket that long, you're probably not playing. You're probably watching like who's gonna fight for the right to take you guys on. Were there any teams that you were kind of watching like, oh man, I kind of hope they don't win, or oh, I'm looking forward to beating them, or like how did that go?
I try not to think about those things like, oh, I hope they don't win, or else it's just not. I feel like that's just taking the easy way out or something.
Right.
I don't like that kind of mentality too much. But I caught the tail end of that Force and Echo match. I got to be there right when Caitlin got that ball. It was really cool. And then against Rainbows, it was really hard. It's really hard when you're a very short person and all the tall people are around you because you can't watch certain games. But against Rainbows and Force, it felt very evenly matched to me, and I felt like any one of those teams could have been in finals. And for a while, I really had no clue who's gonna take it. I was just like, I'd like go back and forth in my mind and be like, okay. Like anytime someone would get out, I'd be like, okay, so we're up against Force. No, we're up against Rainbows. No, we're
it's constantly changing.
Exactly. That's what I love about Dodgeball. It's just like it's hard to predict who's gonna come out at the top.
That's funny. Yeah, it looks like. I mean, I would have expected Rise and Doom or Rise and Echo or Echo and Doom. None of which was the case. And it's no offense to Rainbows, but
yeah, same. No offense, but I really thought because of past experience, Echo had taken all 3 rounds. No, 2 rounds last year for last elite, so I expected them to make it to finals, but I guess not.
Yeah, it looks like Force said no. You guys are done.
Not today, especially Caitlin. Not today.
So what happened? Can you kind of like paint that picture? I do kind of want to embellish Caitlin, but also I didn't get to see it. So can you kind of walk me through how that played out?
Which one?
Caitlin's catch on Payan.
Oh yeah, it was. I walk in and I think she was last in. I don't really know because that was literally the only thing I saw, just them two. And then I see Payan, getting his arm ready for a throw, and then it just lands so beautifully on her pouch, like it was just timed perfectly. And like that was the only those were the only two people I saw when I came in, and then right like before you know it, someone else was in, and like Pine was just kind of hanging his head pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, per the article here, Force's victory over Echo was effectively secured by Caitlin Delgado's catch of Justin Pine, one of the biggest plays in all of co-ed. So
yeah,
I can imagine you're gonna hang your head a little low after that happens. I mean, that's great for Caitlin. Sucks for Pine, but I'm happy for Caitlin. That's, if you're gonna catch somebody and if you're gonna catch them at an important time, that's when to do it. So good for her again. That's funny.
Yeah. Like anytime you catch someone like Pine or catch him is always a wonderful day.
For sure. So do you remember like your final match against Rainbows? Like was that something that, I don't want to say like, because I don't want to put too much words in your mouth, but did you feel like you were going to win at that point? Because you guys were just unstoppable, it looks like. Like, how did that final match play out for you?
I didn't think we were going to win. Not because I didn't think we could do it. I just didn't have any sort of like thought at that point as to who might win. Like, when you're there, you're just supposed to play, and that's part of what I love about dodgeball, is that when you're on court, you're just on court. Nothing matters. Just move the game forward. And I really couldn't think about anything like else, like, oh, we might lose this, or we might win this. That was just not what I was thinking at the time.
Nice. It was. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was doing my job. Try to catch something. Make sure the balls don't go away. Like, try to bring it to your team. And I think that's part of why I didn't really think about those things. Like, if I have a job to do, I'm always just kind of like really focused on it, especially if it's just one job. If I have to do multiple things like cornering and throwing and whatever, like my mind can like race like 1,000,000 miles per hour, and then it's basically multitasking and nothing's getting done.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like you don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. You want to focus on one specific thing and just make that your entire life, and that's all that matters in that moment, type of deal.
Yeah. Well, one day I'd like to be a jack of all trades, but now is not the time for that.
Gotcha. And how long have you actually been on Rise?
Like, I just started.
Oh wow. So was LA Classic, was that your debut with them then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
But that was more like a trial to, I think, more than anything else.
Gotcha. Very cool. So I guess overall, kind of just taking a step back from Rise and your journey through the brackets, was there anything else in particular about co-ed or that weekend that kind of sticks out in your mind as like a good memory, or something that you want to watch again, or just like, oh, that was awesome, or anything like that that's still kind of replaying in your mind?
I feel like the entirety of Elite Round 1 just was amazing to me. It's really hard to pinpoint like my favorite moment. I mean, winning's nice and everything, but I really enjoyed the community coming together and supporting each other. That's always the most fun part for me. And watching everyone bring their A game, especially like this, like round ones are like, nationals are fun, but round 1 is great because you always see new people, new players, and new teams learning to play together and figuring out how well they work together. Not everyone's back to square one ish,
right?
But it's just the start of a lot of like new big stories that are just waiting to happen, you know.
That's a good way to put it. I was thinking kind of like I almost want to say like back to school, or like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah,
That's actually a very, very great that's a very great way to put it, actually.
yeah, you get to be in the best school ever, though. Like, you're taking the best classes possible, and it's you're coming back from summer break, and you're all in your new uniform, and you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and excited. It was very festive feeling in that gym.
Can we talk about those uniforms? Like, everyone had really amazing uniforms.
I was just gonna ask you. I remember seeing, I think, a comment where you're like, in a nice way, obviously, you're like cursing somebody for making such awesome jerseys. You're like, you're making me spend all my money.
Yeah.
What are your favorite jerseys, or like what are some of the ones that stood out, or do you own some now, or let's talk about those.
I bought Saucy's jersey, actually, and I'm currently wearing it because we don't have jerseys for our rec team at WeHo, so we just kind of wear whatever. And I wanted to wear this today because I enjoy this team a lot, and I love everyone on this team. And the shirt is just fire, literally fire.
Actual fire. Awesome.
But Grit's jerseys were awesome. I like talking about this just because I'm an artist, so I'm sorry if this bores a lot of people, but yeah, Grit's jerseys were awesome. Everyone's going long sleeve. It just looks cool. I don't understand why some people don't like it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, like Tyler Greer does not like long sleeves at all.
Neither does Serge. Just a FYI. It's funny because like both him and I guess like people are saying this is the era of the long sleeve, and some people are anti long sleeve, and I was until I saw Grits. I was like, okay, I'll try it, and then I wore it for the first time. I thought I was gonna just burn up, but I don't know. There's something about the long sleeve that I'm a believer now. I couldn't tell you why. I just am. I'm all on board. So
you enjoy your jersey?
Oh, I love it. There's both that one and the Abyss one. But if I had to rank them, if there was a fire, I'd probably save Grits first. Sorry, Justin, but yeah, I love the Grit jersey. It came out so nice. There were so many iterations, and God bless On for putting up with all of our input and our criticism. But that's the product of a lot of feedback and a man of extreme patience. So it's cool to hear that other people are digging it.
That's cool. Like, because I when I was on Valhalla like last year, I had to design the jerseys all on my own, and I feel like I got some help, but not too much. So it's good to have feedback for sure. Like don't feel bad if you felt like you had to put some feedback into your own jersey that you plan on wearing for a whole year of dodgeball.
Yeah, you got to rep that thing, so you might as well be on board with it.
Exactly.
Cool. I don't think I've got any other questions. I just want to comment that Coed was tough. I finally started waking up around Coed. It was a blast playing with Justin and Joe Fernandez, and seeing how much everyone continues to step up their game individually and as a team is super impressive. Was there any one person or team in particular that stood out in your mind that we can kind of take away from?
Like, you mean, like, except, like, besides my own team?
Yeah, besides Rise.
Yeah, let's see. Rainbows, for sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, they gave us a hell of a match. Like, we eliminated them. We had to play them twice. So, we eliminated them, and I don't actually remember. I feel like that went to 2-1, and we almost lost that. I feel like I'm kind of mixing up all the matches in my mind. But I remember the first one, like, our first bracket match against them being significantly more difficult than the
second time.
Yeah.
It was 2-1 the first time, and then they came back after defeating Force. They're probably.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm pretty sure they were very exhausted from playing against that team.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like they might have been gassed, but I mean that's part of the game. And sometimes it's the flip side. If you are coming from the losers bracket, there's a good chance that the momentum is now 100% on you, and the team that's waiting to play in the winners bracket might be getting cold. So it can go either way. But you're right. It was 2-1 the first time, and then for the finals, you guys 2-0'd them. So definitely a strong finish on your end against them.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, I think that's all I got. So you can go ahead and end the interview there. So that was a quick co-ed recap with Monique. And Monique, thank you so much for hopping on and lending your perspective. And also, congrats on taking first. I'm sure that's a great way to start the season. And I definitely look forward to seeing how you guys progress in the later rounds. Now, for part 3, we're going to go ahead and close with the women's division, featuring Crystal Briones and Kelsey Rock from Love Tap.